Hello, my friend. Today is all about the very sweet crafts and DIYs that I've prepared for you. Guys, my name is Tracy. I love to share whimsical country crafts just like today's projects. If you are returning, welcome back. And if you're brand new here, welcome. And I hope that you consider subscribing. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into these crafts and DIYs. This very sweet mason jar wood kit is what I'm going to be doing in this project. Now I'm starting with my wood kit from the Craft Wood Club. This is something that I subscribe to. It's from Casey over at roostandrestorehome.com. And so each month she sends out a topper for a little base that we have. And then included in the package is a scripture. And it is just kind of goes along with what the theme is for that month. I'm just kind of showing you here. This is the spindle base that I got when I first got my first package. And so I use this to put my little mason jar, my little toppers on to decorate my craft room. So this month I decided to do it since I'm doing this strawberry video here collection with you. Okay, so I am just showing you here. These are the supplies that I'm going to be using to decorate my mason jar. The napkin, the gingham napkin is from Hobby Lobby. And so what I'm starting here doing first is I just took my little mini Cricut heat press and just pressing out those folds that were in the napkin. And then once I do that, then I'm going to go ahead and this is a 2-ply napkin. So I'm just separating the back from the front. And then I did paint my mason jar. I gave it a coat of white paint just to have something, for the background. And I just used just some acrylic paint to do that. Then to attach my napkin, what I did is I added some Mod Podge and then I let that dry and I did the heat transfer method. And if you've never seen the heat transfer method, just really quick, you put a thin coat of Mod Podge on your surface, then use an iron, and I'm just using my Cricut mini heat press. You can use a full-size iron or anything that can give you heat. Then you're going to position whatever you're trying to attach to your surface, and then have a buffer sheet. I'm just using a piece of parchment paper, and then I use my Cricut mini heat press just to press that down. And so since I am applying the napkin all the way around my mason jar, I'm working in stages and just kind of positioning it to go around, wrap around, cutting it where I need to, and just get my little checkered gingham piece of napkin here on my mason jar, and it just was the perfect size, and I just love how it turned out. I just went back and added some Mod Podge just to kind of give it a sealant for my mason jar. And since this is a topper, I did go ahead and poke out that hole because that goes on my spindle base. Okay, so then for the top of the mason jar, I'm going to just be using some steel gray paint, and I'm going to paint that on both sides. And then I'm going to be attaching the tin tile to the top for my mason jar lid. And once I have the topper cut out, I just add some tight bond glue as well as some hot glue just to attach it to the top of my mason jar. And I use my little clamps to hold it in place while it dries. Okay, so then I gave, for the little strawberry that comes in this wood kit, I did paint it with primary red, and the little greenery part, I painted that with holly green. And so then now here I'm continuing to work on my topper. Once that's dried, then I did go back over it with some steel gray paint and just make sure that it was all nice and matched the sides. And then to give it a little bit of shimmer, I'm just using my shimmering silver paint, metallics paint, and just gave that a little bit of shimmer. And then to kind of add my doodles and my sweet little touches for my little strawberry, I'm just doing some shading, giving it some white shading. And then I'll do that with the same with the green as well. Then to give it the little strawberry look, I'm just taking the end of a paintbrush and just giving it some polka dots on my little strawberry. I'll also do my little whimsical touches by adding some white squiggles around the strawberry and the little topper, as well as some paint splatters in white, just to give it that country whimsical look that I like for my projects. Once everything was dry, I did take my little finger sander and go around the edges just to expose a little bit of the wood and also around the top of the strawberry as well as the strawberry. Then I took my vintage photo distress ink and went around the entire thing just to give it a little bit of brown shading. Later, I'm going to just add a sealer to that so that it kind of seals in that vintage photo distress ink and everything looks really nice and glossy the way that I like it. I pulled out one of my tea stain tags and just did some hand lettering sweet on this little tag with my black Sharpie marker and my happy dots. I'm just going to be putting the little happy dots on each of the letters there. Then I just take my little black marker and just do a little bit of doodling the way that I like it. Then I'll do my aged look where I crumple up the tag and then add some vintage photo distress ink. Then once I get my brown ink on there, then I'll go back with my white paint and put a little swoosh in each of the dots just to highlight them a bit. I do this after I put my vintage photo distress ink in there because I don't want my dots to have the brown ink on it because I want them to look, I want it to pop. And so I choose to put my little happy dots or the little swoosh in my happy dots once I get my brown ink on there. To decorate the top of my underneath my lid, I just pulled out this ruffled lace that I had on hand and just attached it all the way around the lid of my jar. I really wanted to use this fat rickrack, this white rickrack, because I just love all of the country looks and everything like that. But since this had this little strawberry, because I wanted to finish out the kit for my strawberry projects here, I decided not to use that, but I did have some mini rickrack in the color red, so I glued that to the top of the in-between where the mason jar lid and my little lace was. So then that's perfect. I just had to have some rickrack on my little country project here. Okay, so then for the bow, I just have just different fabrics and just different ribbons and trims. I also have just some thin hemp cording here and just made a bow out of that, just tying everything together. Then I will attach my sign or my little tag to my bow here, and then I'm going to just glue that to the side of my mason jar. I thought I would attach it somehow with a rusty safety pin, but that didn't work out the way that I thought. So it was not a problem at all. And just to blend in my ribbons and trims, I did just run a little bit of that vintage photo ink on some of my fabrics, and so that all kind of tied in together. So then I'm just using my quick tight bond that just putting a little clamp there for that to glue there. And then to attach my strawberry, I'm just using my wood glue, and then I spread that out, just give it a couple of dots of hot glue, and then just glue that there in the middle to kind of finish out this kit. And I absolutely love the way that it turned out. And I'm just so happy with it. Casey does open up her craft wood club several times throughout the year. I will have a link in the description if it is something that you're interested in, and check it out. This Fresh Strawberries Rustic sign is using this beautiful printable from my friend Summer over at the Hammons Nest. I will have a link for it in the description of where I got it. So I printed it out the 5x7 size and just printed it on just cardstock. And so now I'm just tearing away the edges to give it that rustic look that I like. And it's very easy to do just with the cardstock, and I just hold my finger on one side and then just tear on the other side, tearing toward my body so that I get the rustic edge or the aged edge the way that I want. Now, to give it a little bit more of the aged look, I just have my vintage photo distress ink and just taking a little sponge, little finger sponge, and just giving it some ink on the edges. Now I'm going to be using this frame that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to go ahead and remove everything that's in it. I'm going to discard the glass that's in it as well as the paper. I'm just going to be using the frame and the back of the photo thing. So what I'm doing here, I have chalk paint in the color of cashew, and I just have a stencil brush, and I am just going to dry brush over it. Now this frame had a little gloss to it, but I could have sanded it, but I just didn't even worry about that. Once it dries, I'm going to put a sealant over it, and so it works really nice. So for the backer, I am just tracing out some of this crackle looking scrapbook paper that I had in my stash, and just going to be gluing that on the backer and just using Elmer's glue stick to do that. And then I just use my little brayer just to kind of get all of it down. Then once that is done, then I do go ahead and put it back into the frame. And then that is what I'm going to be using to kind of enhance or attach my little fresh strawberry sign. So I had these large, they're already stained, these clothespins that are in, I had them on hand. They're mixed media, and that is from Hobby Lobby. So I am just going to attach it there. Up at the top, I did add just a jute bow just to kind of give it a little bit of interest. And I just love how this turned out. Again, I got this print from my friend Summer over at Hammons Nest, and check out the description box if that's something you're interested in. These faux strawberry bowl fillers turned out so cute just using some leftover eggs that I had. I had picked these up at Hobby Lobby when they were clearancing out their Easter stuff. I was going to use them for some farmhouse chicken wreaths, but I just had this idea of making some faux strawberries, and I wasn't quite sure how they were going to turn out. So I'm happy with the end result. So what I'm showing you here is I have a different array of different things that I'm going to be using. Now I only had just a small piece of red felt, but anyway, that worked out fine. I got these beautiful strawberries on a vine napkins from a store called Belle's, which is like a ladies clothing store, but they do have some home decor stuff. It's kind of like Marshall's or TJ Maxx, maybe Ross, Burlington Coat Factory, that kind of thing. Anyway, so for the eggs, they are paper mache, and for the stem of my strawberry, I have these dowels. Now I'm not quite sure what centimeter they are. I got them in a pack from the Crafter Square section at the Dollar Tree, and I just cut one of the dowels into 3 sections just with my miter shears, just cut those off, and then I used my paper piercer just to poke a hole, get that started. And I thought that I could maybe get the hole just with my little poking tool big enough, but no, I had to pull out my electric drill, and I just used a 1/4 inch drill bit just to drill a hole there on the top. So I would assume that the little wooden dowels are 1/4 of an inch, like 1/4 of an inch. That's what I would say, 1/4 of an inch dowel, since I had to drill a 1/4 of an inch hole. Yes, my husband would be so proud of me. Anyway, so that just worked out really good. So then I could stick my dowel in there, and then that is going to be the stem of my strawberries. To mix it up, I have a variety of napkins. I have some fabric, some red and white polka dot, Swiss dot fabric. I also have some paint that I'm going to be painting some of these. Now, I'm just going to be Mod Podging or decoupaging the napkin on my egg. And honestly, I probably should have like Googled it or Pinterest it to see, maybe to kind of give me some tips of how should I put this on here. And so, guys, it was just really a hot mess, and so this is just where I just attached it. I just Mod Podge, decoupaged on it, however you say, whatever. I just cut and just kind of put the stuff the way that I want. Now, when I get to the red and white gingham or checked napkins, I did try to make sure that it had the pattern, but honestly, since these eggs were brown, I should have a base coated them in white, and I didn't. And so I regretted that, but it was already done. I'm just making these for myself. It's not a big deal. But there was one egg that I did add. I had already decoupaged the red and white check napkin on there, and then I went back and put another napkin on there, and I gathered it from the bottom and then attached it to the top, just hot glued, and just stuck everything down. I like that much better. And so if I were to have to do this over again, I would probably figure out how to have the egg come from the bottom and kind of gather it up at the top. And because I'm going to cut some like faux leaves out of that green felt, and it kind of hides all of my mess that's up underneath there, and everything worked out really good. So friends, if you were looking for a tutorial how to decoupage napkins on your egg, I'm sorry to disappoint you. All right, so for the leaves, I have this pattern that I just drew out, and then just taking my just the white paint pen, I'm just going to draw out that pattern on the felt, then cut that out. That is going to be the tops of my strawberries. I just cut them out with my scissors, and then to get the hole in the middle, I folded my felt in half and then just made a cut with like a X just to get the hole so that it fits over my stem of my strawberry very nicely. I painted the stems with holly green paint. I felt that it went really well with the color of the green felt that I had. And then to add a little bit of extra embellishment or doodles, I just added some white paint to the leaves just to make sure that they look all nice and whimsy the way that I like them. And so, like I said, this is not a tutorial of how to decoupage napkins, because it was a total, there was just a lot of, lots of learning that I had to do. If I had to do this over again, and who knows, I may be inspired to do it again, but I will definitely lay out my napkin or lay out my fabric and go from the bottom and then figure out how to gather it at the top. I don't know why I didn't even think about that. Okay, so then for the painted strawberries, I just took my little detailing brush and just add some little white dots on those, and then let those all dry on my little styrofoam. And then I gave them a clear coat of gloss paint, those painted ones, and then everything looks so nice. I just love how these faux strawberries look in this dough bowl. This sweet little strawberries basket arrangement turned out really cute using one of the thrifted items that I found over at the Goodwill. I found this very heavy crock or berry basket for $1.99, and so I thought it would be perfect for today's project. So I gave it a good cleaning. It was brand new. It was just kind of dusty, so I just gave it a good wipe. Now I just have this block of styrofoam, and in order for it to fit in the berry basket a little bit better. I'm going to trim off a little bit of that just using my serrated knife. And then off camera, I did go ahead and add some Lean's tacky glue in the bottom of it so that it would be nice and secure. So now I have my fine Excelsior. I like to get this over at Hobby Lobby, and then I'm just going to fill in around the sides as well as put some on the top just to kind of mask some of that greenery and make it look really whimsy and cute. I have an array of different florals that I'm going to be using in this arrangement. Some of them came from Michael's Craft Outlet, Hobby Lobby. Majority of them, these florals came from Michael's. The daisies came from Michael's, as well as those little mini daisies. The pip berries came from Hobby Lobby, and the strawberry bush itself came from Craft Outlet. So I'm going to start here with my little mini daisies, and has little mini yellow flowers, little white daisies as well as yellow daisies. And I got that little bush from Michael's. I wish they had them again, but sometimes they just change the flowers. Sometimes our stores have different ones and we we can find them a little bit easier, but I haven't seen these in there lately. Anyway, so then now I'm just sticking in a few of those strawberry bushes. They just have little mini strawberries on it. I wish they were a little bit bigger, but at the end of the video, I'm going to share how I took some strawberries that I got from the faux vegetable and fruit section at Hobby Lobby and made those into picks and included them in the strawberry arrangement. And it just ties everything in together. And I'm going to be making a sweet bow as well as make a sign for this very sweet arrangement. These are the faux strawberries that I got from Hobby Lobby in the faux fruits and vegetables section. And what I'm going to do is just take a dowel and stick them in there and make them kind of like a pick for my arrangement. Now, just to dress them up a little bit so that I'm not going to paint the dowel, I am just wrapping around some red and white polka dot washi tape. Now, if you don't have any washi tape, you can always paint it or use something else like a napkin or something else that will kind of cover your stick so that it is not just the wood. That's what I kind of the look that I was going for. So then I just stuck that in there and then it glued it so that it would stay permanently. And so then I'm going to make a few of these and then sticking my little strawberries in my arrangement and then adding any other greenery just to kind of fill in any spots. I did go back and add a little bit more whimsy of my Excelsior just to give it that airy look for my arrangements, what I like. And that is just the beauty of making an arrangement, just getting the look that you want by adding just so many sweet touches. And we just have so many different flowers and different kind of embellishment so that we can add to our sweet arrangements. I just hand tied a sweet little bow for my arrangements. Now I am using two 1.5 inch ribbons. Now, this red and white check came from Hobby Lobby. I'm just doing about a 3-inch loop, just holding it there in my hand. This white with the red and white gingham on the edges came from Walmart at Christmas. And so don't sleep on those stores when they have a Christmas ribbon, because you can find some ribbon that can go for other holidays or other, craft projects. And so I am just holding the all of the ribbon in my hand. Now, if that's a little difficult for you, I do recommend the Easy Bow Maker. I do use that quite a bit when I'm making my bows, but on this day, I just felt like holding it all in my hand and just making the loops, kind of making my tails go all different kind of ways. It's kind of just like a free, very whimsical bow, just twisting the ribbon in the middle so that the right side of the ribbon will be on top. And then I'm going to secure it all with a zip tie. I just put that there in the middle and then zip tie it there. Once I do that, then I'll just go ahead and dovetail all of the ends. And if you're not familiar with dovetailing, I just fold it in half and then go up from the corner, and it makes a really nice cut on the end, a V cut or a dovetail, and I like that. It just really makes your ribbon, your bow look really finished. For the little berry sweet tag or plant poke, I am just taking a little wood sign that I had from a pack from Hobby Lobby. It was a wood pile brand, and the shape on them said shields, so whatever that means. Okay, so for the stick, or like the plant poke, I just have this large craft stick that I get from a pack from Walmart. So I'm trimming down the sides to make it a little bit thinner. Then using a baby wipe and some antique wax, I'm just giving it like a stain on both sides so that everything blends in and everything is nice and finished. Now, once my little sign is dry from the white paint, I'm just taking a flat paintbrush and just going around the edges with some primary red paint, and I will give that 2 coats. I'll also paint the sides and the back so that everything looks nice and finished. Now, for the little details, because you know me, I love the details, so I do take my flat paintbrush and do a little brown shading for my little sign. I also am using a little detailing brush, and I do add some granite gray paint to give it some lines, just to kind of break up the back. And for my little berry sweet the letters and the little image, I got that off of Cricut Design Space, and I cut it on my Cricut Joy, just using some smart vinyl in red and in green. And so it just all looks really good. I use my transfer tape to transfer it all on the little sign. Now I did my little dots from my strawberries wouldn't come out, so I just said no worries, because I'm going to go back and just paint on some of the little dots that are on the strawberries.